All right, so we're diving deep today into a list of famous people. And get this, they all have names that start with P.
Interesting.
And it's not like some curated thing. It's not like, a museum put this list together.
Right.
The source is thetop10s.com,
Oh, wow.
where the public votes on everything.
Yeah.
So,
So it's like the internet's,
yeah,
idea of fame,
it really is.
like right now.
And it's really wild because it's actors, musicians, athletes,
Yeah.
even a wrestler.
Wow.
And it just makes you realize how many paths there are to recognition.
That's true. It really highlights how diverse fame is. Like,
Yeah.
you've got someone like Paul McCartney, right? A musical revolutionary alongside Pierce Brosnan, known for his Hollywood charm, like two totally different roads to the same destination.
Totally different.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Pamela Anderson is at the top of this list.
Oh, interesting.
And she's an icon, no doubt.
Yeah.
But one commenter pointed out, why is a sex symbol above somebody who is famous for revolutionizing music? What do you make of that?
That's a valid point.
Especially as someone who really follows music history.
Well, Anderson's fame is often linked to like a specific image and era.
Right.
And McCartney's influence on music is undeniable.
Yeah.
And arguably more long-lasting.
Right.
It makes you wonder, does this list prioritize like immediate recognition over enduring legacy?
Interesting point.
Yeah.
So we've got the big names,
Mm-hmm.
but then there are some deeper cuts on this list.
Okay.
Peter Criss, the original drummer for Kiss,
Oh, wow.
and Perry Como, a crooner from way back when.
Oh, cool.
For those of us who may not be familiar,
Yeah.
what does these guys bring to the table?
Okay, so Peter Criss, he helped define like the visual and sonic spectacle that was Kiss,
Right.
which is a band that's still going strong today.
Yeah.
And then Perry Como.
Yeah.
Oh, he was multi-talented, like a force in entertainment.
Wow.
He moved seamlessly between radio, television, and film.
So speaking of shaking things up,
Yeah.
the inclusion of Pier Paolo Pasolini definitely got people talking.
Interesting.
One user commented as a director, Pasolini created a picaresque neorealism, showing a sad reality. Many people did not want to see such portrayals in artistic work for public distribution.
Wow. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, so Pasolini was known for his unflinching look at, society's underbelly. So imagine gritty realism infused with biting satire.
Yeah.
And this picaresque neorealism, it challenged viewers
Right.
and sparked uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah.
It makes you think, should art make us feel good, or should it make us think even if it's unsettling?
Okay, so moving on, we have the newcomers and contenders sections, which is
Right.
like a peek into the future of fame.
So,
We've got names like Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman,
Right.
and the ever so talented Paul Giamatti.
oh, yeah.
What do you see as their potential for reaching those top spots?
It's like watching stars on the rise.
Yeah.
Rubens created an enduring character that transcends generations.
Yeah.
And the Giamatti,
His dedication to his craft has earned him critical acclaim
oh, yeah.
and a devoted following.
Yeah.
Do they have what it takes to become household names like some of the top contenders?
Right.
Only time will tell.
And of course, no P list would be complete without music legends.
Of course.
We've got Paul McCartney, as we discussed.
Right.
And then there's Prince, one of the most popular and influential artists from the 80s, with songs such as Purple Rain, Little Red Corvette, 1999, and When Doves Cry.
Wow.
Now that's an icon.
Yeah.
How do these figures stack up against some of the more niche names on the list?
Their impact is undeniable.
Yeah.
McCartney's songwriting helped define a generation.
Right.
And Prince's groundbreaking artistry pushed musical boundaries.
Totally.
And their global recognition is a stark contrast to some of the more specialized figures on the list.
Yeah.
It shows like the wide spectrum of what constitutes fame.
Yeah.
It leads to an interesting question.
Okay.
Do you think widespread recognition diminishes the value of niche fame?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
We've seen on this list mainstream appeal
Yeah.
blended with niche influence.
Right?
It really makes me rethink, how we define fame.
That's true.
What other P names would you add to this list and why?
That's a thought-provoking question to consider.
Yeah.
As we delve deeper into this list, stay tuned for part 2, where we'll unearth even more fascinating insights about these P names.
Definitely. Okay, so we're back, and looking at this list, I'm seeing some names that really scream like a specific moment in time.
Yeah.
Like Patrick Swayze,
Oh, yeah.
the ultimate heartthrob of the 80s.
Right.
And then Paula Abdul,
Uh-huh.
who ruled the pop charts in the late 80s, early 90s.
Totally.
Like, these P names are time capsules.
It's true. It really makes you think about how fame is shaped by like the cultural landscape of a particular era.
Right.
Like Swayze embodies the energy and aesthetic of 80s cinema,
Totally.
and Abdul's like infectious pop anthems
Yeah.
were the soundtrack to a generation. So it makes you wonder, like, how does their fame translate to people who didn't experience those times firsthand?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Because for some, fame might fade.
Right.
But then there are those whose impact is cut short,
Yeah.
but still resonates deeply. Like Paul Walker,
Oh, yeah.
a rising star whose life was tragically cut short.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Hmm.
an actor whose brilliance, continues to inspire even after his passing.
Yeah, their inclusion is a reminder that fame isn't always about longevity, but about the impact you make in the time you have.
Right.
Like Walker's legacy as an action star lives on,
Yeah.
and Hoffman's captivating performances,
Yeah.
they continue to be studied and admired.
Yeah. So it really makes you think, what defines a lasting legacy in the face of, fleeting fame?
That's a good question.
So shifting gears a little bit, we have some P names who have achieved like legendary status in their fields.
Okay.
Peter Jackson, the mastermind behind the Lord of the Rings.
Cute.
And then Pablo Picasso, who redefined art in the 20th century.
Right, they're true visionaries.
Yeah.
Jackson brought a beloved fantasy world to life
Yeah.
on an epic scale,
Yeah.
and Picasso's impact on art is undeniable.
Yeah, they've not only influenced their fields, but they've inspired countless others to push creative boundaries.
That's for sure.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, we got to circle back to Prince.
Oh, yeah.
The list describes him as one of the most popular and influential artists from the 80s, with songs such as Purple Rain, Little Red Corvette, 1999, and When Doves Cry,
Last six.
he was a game changer.
Absolutely. Prince defied categorization,
Yeah.
blending genres, challenging expectations, and constantly reinventing himself.
Yeah.
And even today, his influence is evident in contemporary music.
Oh, yeah.
It really makes you appreciate artists who refuse to be put in a box
Right.
and constantly evolve their craft.
This list is a global mix, too.
Yeah.
We have British icons like Paul McCartney and Pierce Brosnan sharing space with someone like Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky, whose classical compositions are beloved worldwide.
Yeah.
Does fame take on a different flavor when it crosses international borders?
It's a fascinating observation. Like, fame can be rooted in cultural context,
Right.
but there are individuals like Tchaikovsky whose work transcends those boundaries and
Yeah.
resonates universally.
Totally. It speaks to the power of art to connect with people on a deeper level.
For sure.
All right, I'm spotting a trend here.
Okay.
Whole lot of P names linked to sports.
Really?
Pete Sampras dominated tennis.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart, the legendary actor,
Right.
huge soccer fan.
I did not know that.
And Patrick Peterson left his mark on the NFL as a star cornerback.
Oh, wow. So the letter P holds its own in the world of athletics.
Yeah, they really dedicated themselves to their sport,
Uh-huh.
showcasing talent,
Yeah.
competitive drive,
Right.
inspiring fans worldwide,
It's true. And what's interesting is the diversity within the sports category itself.
Oh, yeah.
We've got individual pursuits like tennis and team sports like football.
It just shows the wide range of athletic achievement that can lead to fame.
Yeah. And what do you think draws people to follow different types of athletes?
Hmm.
I'm glad you brought up different types of fame because, we've talked about how fame can be fleeting.
Yeah.
We've seen it with actors and musicians.
Right.
And it applies here, too.
Hmm.
Perry Como, who the list says recorded exclusively for the RCA Victor label after signing with it in 1943,
Wow.
was a massive star in his time,
Yeah.
but might not be as familiar to younger generations.
It's a good point. It's like a reminder that fame isn't always a steady climb.
Right.
It can rise and fall,
Yeah.
influenced by changing tastes,
Mm-hmm.
cultural shifts, the
Right.
passage of time.
Yeah.
Even those who achieve significant fame might experience periods of being less in the spotlight.
So what's the takeaway from all this?
It seems like fame is a complex beast,
Yeah.
with no single formula or guarantee.
Right.
It can be earned through artistry, athleticism, cultural impact.
Or even a combination of factors.
Right.
But one thing's for sure, it's a constantly evolving concept
Yeah.
shaped by the times and the people who define those times.
You know what else I'm struck by?
What's that?
Is how this list challenges us to consider different forms of fame.
Oh, interesting.
Is widespread recognition more valuable than the admiration of a niche audience?
That is a great point. It's easy to focus on mainstream appeal,
Right.
but the impact on a smaller, dedicated community can be just as profound.
For sure.
We still have more P names to uncover.
Yeah.
So join us for the final part of our deep dive as we explore even more unique paths to fame.
Definitely. We're back for the final part of our P-Name deep dive.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious to see who else made the cut. We've talked about musicians and athletes, even a wrestler.
Oh, right.
But what about actors who've really made their mark on stage and screen?
Well, you've got someone like Peter O'Toole,
Oh, yeah.
a true embodiment of theatrical grandeur, known for his powerful presence, in Shakespearean roles, and of course his iconic performance in Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, of course.
So he really represents that classic path to fame,
yeah.
Built on years of dedication to the craft and captivating audiences with sheer talent.
It makes you wonder if that kind of stage presence translates to other forms of performance.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like Phil Anselmo,
Oh, yeah.
former vocalist of Pantera,
Right.
commands a different kind of stage.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he's a metal legend,
Oh, yeah.
known for his intense vocals and commanding presence.
Anselmo's fame speaks to the power of, subcultures.
Uh-huh.
While he might not be a household name to everyone
Right.
within the world of heavy metal, he's a true icon.
Yeah.
It shows that fame doesn't have to be mainstream to be incredibly potent and influential.
And speaking of niche fame,
Okay.
we also have Perry Saturn,
Oh, wow.
a professional wrestler who made a name for himself in the late 90s and early 2000s. What do you think it takes to achieve that kind of recognition in a field as unique as professional wrestling?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, Saturn's career, I think, exemplifies that unique blend of athleticism
Right.
and entertainment
Uh-huh.
that defines professional wrestling.
Yeah.
It's a world where larger-than-life personalities captivate audiences and often become cultural icons, even if their fame, might not extend beyond that specific realm.
This list also includes figures from different generations.
Yeah.
We've got someone like Piper Curda,
Oh, okay.
a Disney Channel star,
Yeah.
who might be more recognizable to younger audiences.
Right.
How does her fame compare to some of the people we've talked about who came before her?
I think Curda represents the rise of a new generation of fame.
Yeah.
One shaped by platforms like Disney Channel and the power of social media.
Yeah.
Her popularity really speaks to how fame is increasingly driven by younger audiences
Yeah.
and the evolving ways, we consume entertainment.
Okay, so we've covered so much ground already, but I want to make sure we don't miss Peter Sellers,
Okay.
an American theater director known for his avant-garde productions.
Oh, interesting.
His approach to theater seems to challenge traditional norms, right?
Yeah, Sellers is a fascinating case
Yeah.
of someone who achieved fame by pushing artistic boundaries.
Yeah.
His productions are often experimental and thought-provoking,
Right.
forcing audiences to confront uncomfortable truths and question conventional theatrical norms.
It makes you wonder, what role should art play in society?
It's a good question.
Should it simply entertain, or should it challenge and provoke? As we wrap up our deep dive into this alphabet soup of fame, what are your final thoughts?
What stands out to me is how this list reinforces the idea that fame is multifaceted
Right.
and constantly evolving.
Yeah.
There's no single path to achieving it, and its staying power can vary wildly.
Yeah, we've seen how it can be driven by talent, cultural impact, or even just being in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
We've also seen how fame can be fleeting or enduring mainstream or niche, and how it's constantly being redefined by new generations and shifting cultural landscapes.
Right, and perhaps most importantly,
Yeah.
this list reminds us that fame isn't the only measure of a person's worth.
Yeah.
There are countless individuals making valuable contributions to the world who might never achieve widespread recognition.
That's a really powerful takeaway.
Yeah,
It's so easy to get caught up in the allure of fame,
right.
but ultimately it's the impact we have on others and the legacy we leave behind that truly matters.
I agree.
This deep dive has been an incredible reminder of the vast spectrum of human achievement and the diverse ways that individuals can leave their mark on the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So thank you for joining us on this alphabetical adventure.
It's been fun.
We hope it sparked your curiosity and inspired you to look beyond the headlines, to discover the hidden gems and the unsung heroes who truly shape our world. Until next time, keep exploring.